100 episodes. Wow. I can't even begin to tell you what that means to me and how it makes me feel. I started this podcast because I realized that I was struggling with some things that other people were too. I would hear through coaching and just friends, regular circles of conversation, things that I could relate to. And I had answers from experience and I wanted to share it. So instead of talking one-on-one all the time, I thought, let's do a podcast where I can help better serve and teach and hopefully guide others through some of the same life seasons and experiences that I have navigated, hopefully with less chaos, more calm, and quicker results. And so a Fresh Start podcast was born. I hope it served you. Whether this is your first episode or your 100th, we have been through a lot of life together, and I am so excited for this next chapter. But before we get there, I first want to just take some time to share what I've learned personally, let you know what's changing, and why I'm choosing a steadier way forward so that you can know what is in store as we move forward together. But before we officially dive in, I just want to say that episode 100 really comes at an amazing time for me personally because I have taken some steps back, which you may or may not have noticed, and I've been reevaluating how I want to live, work, show up, lead. And this season has been really amazing for me in a lot of ways, changing how I am, how I project myself, how I show up for myself personally, as well as others in my life. I've spent a lot of time over these last few months reflecting and doing a lot of personal work, emotionally, professionally, and it's not necessarily because something was wrong. And I want you to hear that and know that for yourself in your own life. When you do this hard work, which it is really hard work, we get honest in a lot of areas that maybe we're used to glazing over or not diving into deeply, but it doesn't mean something's wrong. It's that I knew something needed to change. I could sense the friction, really. I could sense that there was change that needed to happen, which is usually your new self and your old self kind of going to battle because the new is uncomfortable and scary because it's unknown, but it's new and it's healthy and it's someone that you're growing into. But your old self wants to hold you there because it's comfortable and it's familiar, but it's not where you want to actually be and stay. And so you have this push and pull, and you have to decide through the work, through the reflection, through the pausing, who do you want to become? Who do you want to be? And so for me, I could really feel that in ways of how I wanted to be healthier, steadier, even more sustainable. And so what I want this episode to accomplish is for you to hear some of that reflection that I have been through. I want you to find a piece of it in your own story. And I want you to know that we are going to keep moving forward, but in a healthier way, in a calmer way, steadier and more sustainable together, because this next chapter is going to be even more amazing than the last. So thank you again. Whether this is your first episode or your 100th, there is still so much good to come. Let's dive in. Do you ever feel like you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, but still feel behind, overwhelmed, or even a little disconnected from your own life? Like your days are full, but not necessarily meaningful. And no matter how much you try to get organized, reset, or even quote unquote do better, it doesn't seem to stick. If that's you, you're in the right place. Welcome to A Fresh Start. I'm Shannon Marquita, your habit and mindset coach, and this is a space for busy professionals who want to simplify their lives, build sustainable habits, and feel more like themselves again. I'm not here to give you more to do. I'm here to help you do what matters better, calmer, and with more intention. Everything I share comes from lived experience, walking through burnout, pressure, and the constant feeling of needing to keep up, and then learning how to rebuild in a way that actually lasts. So instead of scrolling, comparing, or even searching, trying to find the next quick fix, this is your space to slow down, reset, and come back to yourself. You can always find more support at my website and via social media. So be sure to connect at Shannon Marquita, that's MARQUETA. Let's get into today's episode. In order to do a good job truly explaining what's changed and where we're headed, I need us to first look back so I can help explain what I've learned over this season that will better frame where we're going. And the easiest way to probably encompass all of it is to share with you that I realized how much pressure in my life that I had normalized. I wasn't just overwhelmed, but I was in a place where I was genuinely feeling responsible and in a way also feeling incapable of doing everything. And that's very normal and also healthy because we can't do everything. And if you feel like you can, you're going to keep taking on more than you should, and it will continue to build and compound, and eventually you will end up where I was. This feeling encompassed too much pressure, me feeling like I had to carry and do everything, often alone. I began to overcomplicate things because I wanted to have the best systems and just in a way also prove that I was able and the best and enough. And all of this was affecting my nervous system. And if you haven't heard anything about this, we are going to be diving in so much because our nervous systems, they carry a lot, they regulate a lot, and they affect a lot. And so when our nervous systems become overloaded, we feel it emotionally, physically, and it just has a ripple effect in a lot of ways. And so by getting our nervous systems calm and back in check, it has a positive ripple effect in how we're feeling, how we present ourselves, how we show up, everything we can accomplish, the quality that we can produce. And I just needed to not feel like I constantly had to do more because mentally and physically, I was just holding on to too much. I was getting enough sleep, but I was waking up tired. I was physically struggling, even though I knew that I was having good habits. And that is not a good place to be because it affects all areas of our life. I was trying to respond to messages quickly in every message. I was trying to not only make decisions, but make quick decisions, and that was causing poor quality as well as a lot of extra fatigue. And then also on top of all of that, when you feel like everything you need to do and do quickly also has to be perfect and you have to have the perfect plan, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, I'm already feeling stressed and I'm through that season. I get little glimpses where my past self tries to pull me back into old habits, but thankfully I'm in a place where I start to recognize it and I have good boundaries and self-checks in place so that I no longer am struggling with this as much. I'm not constantly replaying conversations in my head as often. I still do it. Me and one of my best friends joke about this a lot because we'll leave a situation and we'll just think, what the heck just happened? Who just showed up to that conversation? Because that was not me. And then we replay everything and we'll joke about, well, they probably think I'm the weirdest person now. I swear that I do have social skills. And it's just is so funny to think sometimes what comes out of our mouths or how we behave. And we're just like, wait a second. And you have to regroup and realize we're all a little weird. And sometimes that happens. And from those encounters, people aren't thinking you're the worst ever. People probably aren't even thinking about you. And so you just need to bless and release, laugh it off, and grow through it. And so as we continue to improve our confidence, improve our boundaries for what we take on and the pressure and speed with which we feel like we have to accomplish things and navigate things, I was also trying at the time to optimize everything. And while optimization is great, you have to pick a few things. You can't do everything. And so while I was navigating this space and this time, I was especially struggling because I just felt like I wasn't optimizing anything. I wasn't having good systems. I wasn't accomplishing everything that I needed to or that I should. And so I was trying to get a new strategy and I was trying to do this and do that. And my to-do list kept growing and I kept doing different pivots. And I just felt like I could never get a grip. And so what I really have taken from that is not only did I need to slow down and I needed to improve my focus and I needed to decrease what I was letting in and working on, I really also needed to work on steadiness because having a speed that is constantly intense and feeling like you constantly have to produce, that takes away your peace. And that takes away your quality and that takes away your creativity. And so when I was in a place where my brain basically believed that if I stopped thinking about something for even 5 seconds, everything would fall apart, that was a healthy self-check. We need to regroup. We need to take a step back and we need to figure out what is happening and where does our energy and focus need to be and why are we feeling this way? I really had to do some deep work in order to figure out what were some of these triggers and why was I feeling like I was never or doing enough or good enough or enough in general. And so I want to ask you a very real question. Where in your life are you carrying more than you actually need to right now? And why? Because once you start answering those questions and really get deep down below the surface, it gets a lot easier to release. It gets a lot easier and more peaceful to slow down because you don't feel like if I don't get the answer right, or if I don't even give an answer right away, then I failed or I'm not enough and people are judging me. No. That's not what happens. If you ask a question and someone doesn't know the answer right away, do you think that they failed? Do you think that they aren't enough? Do you automatically start belittling them? Or do you thank them for not giving you a guess or a false answer and having enough courage and confidence to say, I'm not sure. Let me get back to you on that. Because that is a much more mature answer. And that shows that they have the confidence to be able to pause and respond appropriately in a way that is respectful and not from a place of proving. And that is a huge lesson that I want you to take away as we go into this next season is that you are enough and you don't have to prove yourself. You might think that you do in order to get a certain promotion or a certain relationship or a certain friend group, but the reality is that you don't. And the more that you show up with the right confidence, the easier it is for you to find your place and where you're meant to be, whether with the right people, the right position, the right company, whatever it is. You need to know that no matter what, even if it takes you a little longer to answer a question, or if you say no to something because you know you're not meant to take it on, that you are still enough. So every time we learn something, that really should trigger change. And so what I want to share with you is from this season of learning personally, as well as professionally, there is change coming. It's actually already happening. And the main piece of it, if I was to put it into one sentence, is simplification. Because what I've learned from a place of intensity and urgency and overbuilding and overthinking and pressure is that is not who I am, who I want to be. It's not a healthy place to show up from. I don't want to project that stress or overwhelm. And so instead, it is causing me to pivot to the opposite. And what you're going to see instead is a pace of steadiness, more one that has consistent rhythm coming from a place of groundedness. For too long, I felt like I believed growth had to feel intense to count, but that's not true. What I've learned, and I'm continuing to learn and want to teach you, is that the healthiest growth is actually steady. It's often quiet, but really it's sustainable. It's not something that ebbs and flows. It is sometimes have larger growth seasons, but growth is consistent because we are constantly investing in ourselves. We are reflecting. We are making the necessary small adjustments along the way so that it's not a constant stop, go. That's why people in weight loss journeys often have yo-yo dieting because they make these really big drastic changes, but it's not sustainable and it's too loud and big and intense. And so they achieve the goal, but they can't keep it. And so then the pendulum swings the other way and they have a lot of gain because now they were feeling in deprivation and it just was too extreme to hold on to. And so they had to adjust the other way in order to cope. And so it's constantly back and forth until we realize that growth is often small, what may feel like insignificant changes, but they compound over time and results show over time. First, that you notice, and second, that outward audiences and people often then begin to notice where you have seen the changes all along the way. They're just now getting a glimpse of it. Some other main pieces in the business and life aspect that I've experienced and I really want to help share with you as well is going to be from a place of less noise, more consistency. I want to help you with real life integration, not just teaching these ideas, but for how you can implement and actually have takeaways. There's going to be more practical support. There is definitely going to be more nervous system awareness. I'm going to improve how we can have more connection. I love these podcast episodes and I love the feedback that I receive, and I get to hear your stories and how this really spoke to you in your life and you implemented it. But I want to be able to have more connection in between episodes in real life, not just the occasional stories that related to individual episodes. And also less pressure. I want to help you feel the difference when pressure is alleviated and you don't take it back on because you learn to say no and you learn to regulate what you let into your your life. Because personally, I don't want to build a business that constantly asks you to do more. I want to build one that helps you have clearer, steadier vision and for you to feel more capable in your life. Because the reality is that I am not teaching from a place of perfection. I am teaching from one of practice. Like all of these lessons are real life lived experiences. I learned them usually the hard way, sometimes from a little mentorship, but still got a taste of it personally. And so I'm trying to pay that forward because I want you to have exponential growth, to have increased peace, happiness, joy, to have amazing confidence as you pursue everything that you want in your life, relationally, health-wise, professionally. And I want you to know that I'm not just teaching these on a whim because I think they sound good, but it's actually because I know what it takes to overcome. And I don't want you to have to experience everything firsthand. And so know that I'm committed to showing up more consistently. It's not going to be perfect, but it will be steady. And I am excited to grow together through this next season. And so I want to ask you, with this new direction, do you know that what we do and what we consume matters mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? We not only are going to talk about habits and how we think and our relationships, we're also going to talk about ingredients, not only with the things that we consume, but also the daily items that we use. We are going to talk about what we consume also visually and audibly with what we listen to, what we watch, as well as what is the pace of your life that you are keeping. Is it sustainable? How does it make you feel? Why are you keeping that pace? What would you like to change, but maybe feel like it's too hard or you literally can't? Because those are real conversations to have. We have to ask the hard questions, we have to answer them, and then we have to make a change. And so I want you to feel safe with your nervous system, with your thoughts. We sometimes think things that we are afraid to say out loud, and that affects us if we try to keep it all inside. And so what I'm really trying to create is a safe space without judgment that you can come and lay everything down, talk about it, and pick up only what you need so that you can move forward better. I love optimization, but this new season, I am less interested in trying to optimize everything, and I'm more interested in helping you live well. Pressure creates too much urgency. Urgency often disconnects us from clarity, and so when we slow down, it helps our perspective and it builds trust, not only with others, but also ourselves, because we realize we can stay. We're not scared. We're not fight or flight. Things might be hard. We might want to make a change in order to have a healthier future, but it is safe to stay. And so we are building a life in a safe way that we aren't afraid to show up to. We can have hard conversations because we have the confidence knowing that we have the right tools and we're building something not only to last, but also that matters. So I know some of this might feel very relatable, which I love, but also might feel a little broad. And so I want to assure you of not only what is here to stay from before, but also what's new and what's coming, because I want you to know that you have a safe place to connect and to share and a community to grow with. So first and foremost, know that I am building simpler, steadier ways for us to be and stay connected as well as grow together. Weekly podcasts are here to stay, so get excited. My social content, it is definitely online, but it is not going to be perfect. It is a way to connect, have some extra teachings in between podcast episodes, as well as to help guide others, not only to our community, but also ways to connect and get help themselves. So it is definitely not perfect. You aren't going to see me with 2 million followers, and I'm okay with that. The likes, the views, the followers, those aren't the goal. The goal is to serve you well and to help you grow and achieve your goals and improve your confidence so that you know without a doubt in navigating all the seasons of life, you can do it and you have what you need, not only with the tools, but also with the support. Something new that I'm offering that really has come about from experience of what people are asking me for and needing is voice note coaching. It's not in real time. There is no phone call. There is no video. It is just a simple way for you to be able to have support in processing real life situations to get another healthy perspective without pressure or overwhelm. There's a link in the show notes that can take you to read more about this, and you can begin taking advantage of it right right away. I'm also building something called a steady place, which is a weekly space focused on slowing down, building self-trust, and growing steadily together. In essence, this is our new community. It is going to offer support in a lot of different ways without pressure or overwhelm. Social media is fun. A lot of people do their groups and communities there, and that is wonderful. But for me, what I found is those are too much. You get too many notifications, you click and you go in and you immediately get lost. And for me, I want to get out. I don't even know where to start. There's too many comments. It becomes overwhelming really quickly. And so for me, that didn't work. So I'm creating a steady place just for that reason, so that it's steady and consistent and the overwhelm is not there, but the support and accountability is. And then eventually I do want to build a deeper community, a space around all of this, but intentionally. And so that is happening in a more sustainable, slower way because I want to make sure that it supports you in the ways that you need. I don't want to guess. I don't want to create something unnecessarily or one more thing. All of this is for you, and it's from a place of true support and what I have heard and found is needed in talking with you. And so if you need something specific or you have found other things that work well, I would love to hear from you. You can find me on social media, you can send me an email, but everything that I do is for you. So don't be afraid to reach out and know that as we move forward, it will be some trial and error, but it is not a rush. This is not a race. All of this is so that we can move forward in a confident way with less stress and overwhelm, building the life we want and living in a full, confident way. And so I want to say, again, episode 100, thank you for being here. Whether this is your first episode or your 100th like mine, you mean so much to me, and I am so grateful for you, for all we've learned and accomplished, and moving into this next chapter together. Talk to you soon. I'm really glad that you were here today. Be sure to take a moment and notice what stood out to you. And more importantly, what do you want to carry with you from this episode? And be sure to share it with someone who's feeling the same way. That could be personally or by way of leaving a review, so that more people can find their way here too. For next steps, tools, and to work together, you can find me online at Shannon Marquita. That's Marqueta. And if you're looking for ongoing support and more real conversation, be sure to join my community. Link is in the show notes. Remember, you're not behind. Take what you need and trust that a fresh start is always possible and available to you. Talk to you soon.